Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be showing you the perfect way to cut your pencil skirt. Just follow my step-by-step tutorial and you're going to achieve this at the end. So firstly, I'm going to fold my fabric into two from the right side, just like you can see. I'm going to adjust it so I don't have too much excess before I start imputing all my measurements. So let's get started. Starting from the top of the fabric, I'm going to impute my waist measurements. So you measure round of your waist, divided by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to mark it. And after which you mark it, you're going to add your seam allowance. So I'm going to be using allowance of 1.5 inches because I'll be using 1 inch for the dart, which I'll show you later. So I'll be using 1.5 inch for my allowance. So after this, we're going to take our hip measurement. So from the start of the fabric, I'm going to come down because I'm making this for a tall person. So I'm going to come down by 9 inches. So guys, I'm just cutting the top of the fabric because I want to have a smooth start. Some other times I just rule 1 inch and start from that 1 inch, but let's just cut off the rough edges and get started with this. So next, I'm going to mark the 9 inch. Now if the person is not too tall, you could use 8 inches for the hip line. But 9 inches is also perfect for a tall person. So I'm going to mark this 9 inch like you can see. And on this 9 inch line, I'm going to impute my hip measurements. So the round of my hips divided by 4, I'm going to impute it on this 9 inches line. That's exactly what I'm doing now. And after that, I'm going to add 1.5 inches for seam allowance. So quickly, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch for the hip, for the seam allowance at the hip line. So next, I'm going to come down from that hip line by 13 inches. So I'm going to mark 13 inches coming down from the hip line, just like you can see. Now this 13 inches line will be called my knee line. So most people don't mark this, but I'm doing this because I want to have that perfect shape when I'm sewing the dress. I don't want to start, because when you don't do this, you're going to shape and shape and shape your dress over and over again. But when you have all these measurements rightly imputed, you don't have to go back and forth. So on this 13 inches line, which is my knee line, I'm going to mark in my waist measurement. So what I had for my waist measurement, both the seam allowance, I'm going to impute this right at my knee line. This is going to make it easy for me to just get the perfect curve and the perfect fitting for this skirt. So next, I'm going to take my measurement for the hemline. So what I also have at the knee line, I'm going to extend it straight down to the hemline. But firstly, I just want to pin up the fabric, so because it's a long skirt, and I don't want it to be moving around while I'm cutting. So I'm going to pin it down so it can be at a place when cutting. Then I'm going to push this forward and go down to the hemline. So quickly, I'm going to connect all these points. Now that I have it in place, I'm going to connect all the points that I've dotted out before adjusting it. And I'm working with a full length of 42 inches. And I'm still going to add some allowance, like 2 inches allowance for the hemming. So this will be a long skirt. It's longer than my camera can capture it. So I'm going to be adjusting it right now. So I've gotten to the bottom of the dress and I've marked my 42 inches plus 2 inches for folding, and then I'm going to connect it. So I use exactly what I have on my knee measurement. I'm going to connect it down to the hemline. Next, I'll start cutting. So quickly, we're going to be cutting the back piece of the skirt. So I'm going to arrange my fabric again like I did the first time. And after arranging it, I will then take the front piece and place on top just like this. So I added 1.5 inch at the back of the back piece for zip allowance. So that is the 1.5 you can see behind the start of the front piece. So next I'm going to be cutting out the pattern just like this. So guys, I'm done cutting, and before I begin to slit the back, I'm going to trim off the excesses I have at the start of the fabric for the back piece. That's what I'm doing right now. So next I'm going to be imputing my dart allowance. So I'm using 4 inches from the center fold of the front piece. So for the back, it's going to be 5.5. So I'm going to mark this, and I'm coming down by 4.5. So next, I will just notch this particular point here, just like you can see. So the notch is for the front and the back. And then next, I'm going to notch my zip allowance at the start of the fabric and the bottom of the fabric. This is for clarity purposes. Then I will divide the back piece into 2 for the zip allowance and the slit, like I'm doing right now. So next, I'll take these pieces to my ironing board, and then I'm going to iron the hemline of the dress, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I'm also going to cut out my waistband. I'm going to be using 4 inches, but I will advise you use 5. But if you're okay with a small band, 4 inches is fine. So I'm going to be cutting out 4 inches, and then for the length, you just use your waist measurement, and then you add 2 inches because you're going to fold the edges. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. So this is me cutting out this part for the waistband. So I'm also going to iron hairstay to this. So I'm done with pressing the hairstay down to the fabric, and this is what it looks like. So I added hairstay to make it a little bit firm because I'm using a crepe fabric. So and I made a crease to the middle of the dress. So when I'm sewing it right to the skirt, it's going to stay well. So next, for the hemline, I've already made the first fold. I use hemming gum here to ensure that it's steady. Then I did this for the back piece, for one part of it, and the second part of it, I folded it down already. And I folded the slit part. And also for the front piece, just like you can see, the down part of it, I also use hemming gum to press it down and lay it smoothly. So I'm not adding a lining to this because this is a crepe fabric. So if you're using Ankara or pure cotton, then you can go ahead and cut out your lining too. So next, I am done sewing my darts just like this at that 4-inch point I showed you guys earlier, and I took 4.5 down. I've sewn in the darts for the front and for the back. So this is for the back piece, the dart. So next I'm going to be joining the sides. Place the back, arrange it on the front, and then sew the sides just like this. So here I have joined all the sides, but I have not closed the back. That is where the zip and my slit will be. I have not closed that part. So next, after joining all my pieces, I'm going to be putting my waistband. So this is how I'm going to be sewing in my waistband. I'm going to take one piece of the waistband itself. Please ignore this part of my hemming gum that did not, my stay that did not lap. So I'm going to take it just like this, and then from the back, I'll place the waistband from the back and then turn it to the front just like this and sew. I hope you understand. So I'm going to sew one part from the back first before I turn it to the front and sew. Then I'll join the two sides and show you what it looks like. So guys, to ensure that your work is very neat, please fold in 1/2 inch first before you start sewing from the back, so you don't have anything like the fabric is coming out. Yeah, so this is what you're going to have when you fold in 1/2 inch first. I hope you understand from what you're saying. So right here, I'm done sewing in my waistband, and this is it. This is what we have. As you can see, it's neatly placed. And if you look at the mouth, it entered inside as it should be. So next I'll be closing the back of this skirt. So hey guys, as you can see, we are done with this tutorial. We are done with sewing the skirt, joining all the sides. So what's left is to give it a good press, and you will see how beautiful this skirt turned out. So if you have a weaving machine, you can weave it down. So but I'm going to fold mine again, because I gave the extra allowance. I'm going to fold it again inside round, and it's going to have a clean finishing. So with this my pattern, you're able to work freely without stress of it's being too fitted or it's not giving you fitting. So next I'm going to impute my zip at this zip allowance point, and that'll be all for this skirt. Thank you very much guys for watching. Please do subscribe, like, comment, and until that, see you in our next video. Bye.